And bright suns, travelers, and
Bright
welcome
suns,
in.
everyone. Welcome in. Hope everybody's having a good day.
Yeah.
So here we are, double feature.
Yep.
You don't usually go live on Fridays at this time, but here we are trying to get caught back up with the current week of Book of Boba Fett.
hmm
So we did chapter 3, or my bad, chapter 2 yesterday, and
I did make it back,
chapter
Tina.
3 today.
I did.
Hey, welcome in, Tina. Thanks
Thanks.
for being here.
I did make it back. She's referring to the mission that I went on earlier
Oh,
today.
oh,
So
nice.
you'll have to watch the new short up
Oh,
on the
okay.
channel to find out what that's all about. Hey,
All right.
Pam, welcome.
Hey, welcome in, Pam. Thanks for being here.
Welcome.
Great to see you.
Good to see y'all. Catching up again on the Book of Boba Fett. This might be my favorite episode yet. What do you think, William?
I think let's see.
Oh, hey guys,
Oh,
welcome in.
hey,
It's Joey
yeah,
Girl, Lisa,
welcome in,
Keith,
y'all.
Joey.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah.
Um,
no, no,
uh,
no worries. Thanks for watching. y'all are so great. Thank you. They're watching us
yeah,
muted
thanks,
because
y'all.
they're still behind. So
That's funny. Appreciate the watch
that's
time
true
there.
supporters there. Love
But
it.
yeah,
Love
I
it.
really enjoyed this one. I feel like we're starting a game ahead, gain ahead of steam.
Oh yeah,
First
definitely.
chapter, kind of filling in the blanks. What happened to Boba, where
hmm
he is now. Second episode, kind of
Right.
establishing those relationships, understanding the journey that he's been on, um, and establishing that relationship with the Tuscan Raiders and his connection to them. And so,
Right.
uh,
Yeah.
so here
The
we are,
stage is
episode,
set.
yeah, chapter
The stage is set.
3. We're
Yeah.
we're gaining ahead of steam. I think there's 7. I want to say there's going to be 7
There are
chapters. I
seven
think.
there are 7 episodes, and
Okay.
we are up to 4 have
Okay.
actually
So
have
it's
actually shown.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's we're
Mhm.
getting to the midway point of this show, and so we really it's ought to start expecting to pick up. I haven't watched chapter 4 yet because I'm waiting to watch them as we're ready to cover them on stream,
Right.
and so I'm trying not to get ahead of myself. Um, you know, so anyway, here we are, chapter 3, called "The Streets of Mos Espa."
Mhm.
Jabba's palace starts off again. Well, formerly Jabba's, I guess. Boba's palace.
Mhm.
They're on Tatooine. Start off
Oh,
there.
hey, welcome in, Dave. Thanks for being
Hey,
here.
yeah, welcome in.
Adventures by day.
Um, Starts off, we see a weird little spider creature thing walking across the sands of.
It is a weird. It's a great little spider creature thing. It's like a
Uh-huh.
black widow looking kind of.
It's like
I love it. Yeah.
looks like it's like hexagonal or
Yeah.
but
Hexagonal.
hexagonal. That's what I was trying to say. But yeah, it's a funny little creature. Start off immediately with a briefing from 88.
Yeah.
Um, and what cracked me up about it was he refers to Jabba as the name that should not be spoken.
He does.
And so it,
Totally, and my Harry
yeah,
Potter fan in me went immediately to Voldemort and he who should not be
uh
named. I
huh,
thought it
yep,
was hilarious. Yeah,
yeah. So
could have been a little
I
shout
thought the
out to Harry
same.
Potter. Who knows?
Yeah, I thought the same thing there too. But Boba says it's fine, and he's like, I didn't want to, offend you, and
Yeah,
then he says he ends up offending him anyway.
yeah.
Uh,
He says, well, why? And he says, well, because of the assassination attempt. And Boba says, well, now I'm offended. Now
yeah.
it's some good dialogue there.
So 88's
Kevin
kind of
Theme Park
explaining.
Adventures, welcome
Yeah,
in.
welcome in, Kevin. Thanks for being here. Um, but like Pam says, I've caught on a lot of movie references in this series. Okay, okay. Let us know if there's any others you can think of, Pam.
Yeah, let us know,
Um,
Pam. I
Mos
think I've caught
Espa.
a couple too, Pam.
Mm.
Yeah.
We see or 88, kind of explains the lay of the land. He says Mos Espa was divided between
hmm
3 families under Ben
Yes.
Fortuna. The Trandoshans got the city center, the Aqualish got the workers district, and the Clatunians got the starport and upper sprawl, according to 88. Let's see, Bib Fortuna. He explains Bib Fortuna didn't have the power of Jabba, so he maintained the tribute and title through uneasy alliances, and also lined Mayor Mock Shays' pockets also.
Yeah. I'm thinking as I'm watching this with with kind of the holographic city map there, I'm thinking this is probably information that Boba Fett could have used
beforehand,
before now. Before he ran into all these, all these factions, and he's kind of trying to play catch up here too, because he has to get the lay of the land if he's going to be an effective daimyo. And AD8 tells him in this briefing, everybody is waiting to see what kind of leader you will be. So
yeah, and that was the quote that I'd written down. Everyone's waiting to see what kind of leader you are.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it's something that not only have the characters, in the story been waiting to see, but us watching this story have also been waiting to see it as well.
Exactly. He hasn't defined himself yet, really.
Nah.
So, I think 4, and I'm no spoilers on 4, guys, no spoilers on 4, but I think 4 feathers, kind of gives us some insight there. So that's good.
But let's see. We get a surprise visit from a vassal named Lortha Peel, new character we haven't seen before. He is a watermonger in the workers' district, and quite brash, a little bit brash on his honesty aimed towards Boba.
He is, but always prefaced by, "I'm insulted for you."
Yeah.
Because all these bad things are happening. All the people are, they have no respect for you. And I'm insulted for you. Putting himself, of course, in the best possible position, because, he may or may not know whether the Rancor is still there. So, it's the dialogue is really funny. So he's treading on thin ice while still, delivering this. Ain't nobody respects you, buddy.
Yeah. It's like, it's, I'm insulted on your behalf is like the Southern equivalent of bless your heart.
Yeah.
And so he says what he wants to say. He straight up says, no one respects you.
Yeah.
He says, since Bib Fortuna perished, the streets have turned to chaos. And I knew the assassination attempt in front of the people, right there at the beginning of his reign as daimyo was not going to be a good look.
Right.
And so
yes, and he knows that too.
Yeah, and this Lortha Peel, this watermonger, goes on to explain that some half man, half machine, street gang of kids are stealing his inventory. And he said this didn't happen to their other daimyos. And so again, kind of poking at him, saying, come on, like.
Yeah, he really comes with, with a lot of insulting bad news. And yet he knows that if he delivers it, in straight up, there's probably going to be some kind of repercussion. So he always prefaces it, well, I'm insulted on your behalf. I, Lortha Peel, am insulted on your behalf, because he pretty much, hands it to him, as far as the feeling on the ground, the grassroots feeling out there toward Boba Fett. So
Peel says he sweetens the deal. Says I'll double my tribute if you get rid of this. If you get rid of this gang, get rid of this issue for me. We've seen kind of repeated cuts of like, here's Jabba's palace, here's Jabba's palace from another angle. So each episode is kicked off with starting off at the palace. And we've seen shots over Mos Espa as well. So this is the first time we see a nighttime shot over Mos Espa. And we see Boba, Fennec, and the Gamorreans walking the streets, and Boba confronts the gang, and they openly admit they make no bones about it. They stole this water.
They did, yeah.
And then they turn around and say, the watermonger should be a crime for him to charge as much as he is charged for the water.
Yeah, they say that he has charged them a month's water for a week's worth. So that's
So basically,
pretty inflated prices there.
oh yeah, no doubt. So both parties have a bit of a complaint towards each other. The gang feels justified in stealing the water because he's price gouging, and they feel justified to take it, and we don't know necessarily his persuasion for why, his motive for why he's charging so much for the water, other than
he can.
Yeah, exactly. If you're on the ice house in town, then you can name your price.
Exactly.
So anyway, this gang is, they look like young people, and they look like, he describes it as if, they've essentially voluntarily replaced some of their body parts, in an effort to
with mechanical, body parts. They've gone baaa-ack, basically.
Yeah. There's a girl with a robot arm. There's a guy that has a like robot eye, like scouter looking thing.
Immediately, immediately reminded me, of the Borg in Star Trek. Darryl mentioned, Star Trek.
Yeah. Well, I think about the other thing I think about too is, it's kind of the same motivation that General Grievous had, and that he wanted to be the ultimate warrior, basically. And so, he was a man at one point, and he, gradually over time kept replacing parts of himself till he was full on robot.
Crazy. Sounds pretty crazy to me. But this group has modified, call it modified themselves to be, to have mechanical pieces of their bodies.
He kind of sorts out the situation. The girl from the gang calls him an old man, which I was like, oh, you're
now talk about no respect. She shows him
prime
no
example.
Respect.
The whole gang does it.
He backs her up. He says, be careful. I'm the new daimyo in these parts. And at first, she really doesn't.
An all-established order. Yeah.
She keeps on, with her insults and her.
They keep pressing, and and they say again, they back up their claim. If you're the daimyo, then why'd you let the monger charge us a month's wages for a week's water? And she claims there's no work. They're in the workers' district. And Boba says, "All right, you can come work for me. I'll put you to work."
And that kind of sets her back on her heels a little bit. Did you notice that? She's okay.
Disrespectful youngins.
She didn't see that one coming.
But
she didn't see that one coming.
So the watermonger comes out, of course, and he's got issue with this and says they owe 1,300 credits. And Boba says, "How about 500?"
And immediately, the watermonger who has obviously been eavesdropping steps out, in to the street and says, "Wait a minute, you're just gonna let them off just like that? They owe me 1,300 credits." And Boba Fett, at that point, Boba says, 1,300 credits. How about 500 credits? And we consider this matter closed. Watermonger's obviously not happy, but he really doesn't have a choice. At that point,
you're looking at a fully suited Boba Fett, and you're just a regular Joe. know your role.
Fennec, with Fennec, who has her own reputation backing him up. And so, he doesn't have a whole lot of choice here. And it's kind of like, okay, well, I opened this can of worms. I'm going to have to,
Pam's right. He tells him to lower his prices also.
He does.
Consider the matter resolved
for good measure.
And if he doesn't like it, he can move to Mos Eisley, which gets a chuckle out of Fennec. So I did want to mention this is a unique faction. Not only in that they've, voluntarily replaced, parts of their bodies with, machine weapons or, enhanced themselves with machine limbs.
Parts.
But they ride some speeders that have shiny paint jobs.
And bright colors.
And they're bright colored also. And this is not something you really see in Star Wars. Number one,
I have that.
Unless it belongs to the Empire, it's not shiny.
It's not
Um,
shiny and it's not a bright color.
yeah.
With the Mandalorian, with most of the Star Wars
Hmm.
movies in general, you do not see these bright colors, and their bikes are red, yellow, green, and
Yeah.
black, bright
Yeah,
primary
and they
colors.
kind of reminded me like 50s throwback.
Hmm.
The way that they're,
Yeah.
there's so much chrome and bright colors on their bikes
Hmm.
that it kind of kind of reminded me of like a like a 50s style throwback
Right.
and kind of design wise on these
Right.
bikes.
Yeah. I'm gonna confess, I don't like the bright colors.
It just
It's
seems it
it's
seems
kind
out
of
of place a
jarring
little
to
bit.
me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is a
I
bit
mean, maybe
jarring
that's
too.
what they were going for,
Yeah,
you think? Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean,
um,
you know me, I love primary colors.
yeah,
But in Star Wars, it's so unusual to see all those, and they're different colors because they're bikes. I know maybe
uh
that's
huh,
what they were going for, was just kind of
yeah.
something different.
Yeah, Pam makes a good point. The youngins
Hmm.
are like Finnick. She has parts now too.
Yep,
So
that's true.
I hardly even think about Finnick, being being patched
Bionic.
together. Bionic,
Hmm.
yeah. But because she showed her midsection on
Hmm.
that episode of The Mandalorian, I hadn't really thought about
Hey,
it
Dennis, welcome
since then.
in.
Hey, welcome in, Dennis. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for being here. We appreciate you.
um, so anyway, so the gang, is going to work for Boba now. We cut back to the palace. We see, one kind of a funny little, uh,
Hmm.
funny little, sequence of events where you see this little
Hmm.
rat-like figure, and he gets snatched up by some sort of bird type figure, and then the bird type figure, both of them get eaten by this frog.
Yeah.
It's very random, very quick sequence
Very,
of events.
very circle of life
Uh
reference.
huh. But so again, we see Boba is back in his bacta tank. We get a flashback to Camino with the slave one taking off. This is we
Mhm.
keep seeing this scene, and I'm wondering if it's I'm wondering what the significance of, aside from them using footage from prequels. I'm wondering what that specific memory means to him, because they've shown it multiple times.
They have.
Aside from being a memory from his childhood,
Yeah.
and you mentioned core memories yesterday.
Yeah.
Aside from being a core memory, like what does this represent to him?
Yeah. I think honestly, just that memory, and it's him watching a Jango Fett, his father, fly
Hmm.
away in Slave One, and he's behind on Camino. Um, I really think that for Boba Fett, he is still really, really dealing with a lot of separation anxiety. He's still
Mm,
dealing with a lot of the trauma of losing his father. And he obviously loved his father dearly.
yeah.
The irony is that Tamara Morrison played, Jango Fett
Yeah.
in the Clone Wars. So it's really a neat circle
Yeah.
there. But he's watching his
Welcome in,
father
Jeff
fly
and Ange.
away. He's
Mm,
he so he they keep referring to him losing his dad. I think
mm,
that's what we need to take from that.
mm.
He is still not over losing his dad. He feels cheated, in losing his dad.
Yeah.
And because of that, I think, guys, I'm going to make a prediction here. I think that, oh, hey, welcome. Thanks so much for being here, Jeff or Angela. Um, I think that we're going to see that piece, if not in this season, in next season, come to fruition.
Mm,
I think we're gonna see some more characters who were involved in his father's death. I hope they're gonna
mm.
bring them in, but at some point he's gonna have to deal with that,
Yeah.
because it was a big theme in in the other Star Wars movies, especially in the Clone Wars. I really recommend, guys, that you go back and watch the Clone Wars
Hmm.
again, because it'll give you some really good backstory on this. I watched it again. I'm glad I did, because it reminded me of a lot of things I'd forgotten.
Yeah. So yeah, the Clone Wars, kind of fills in the space where, assuming it's considered part of the, this canon at this point, Boba ends up kind of being taken in by a bounty hunter named Aura Singh and
Mm.
Bosk and Castus. And so you see that, and they, basically try to help him get revenge on Mace Windu
Mhm.
and on the Jedi. Um, And so, Boba goes so far as to, try to assassinate Mace Windu.
He does, yeah.
But anyway, that's check out the Clone Wars for more on that.
I think we may see Mace Windu, guys. I'm going to go out on that limb. I think we're going to see Mace Windu at some point. Not this season, probably, but next season, I think we'll see Mace Windu. I hope we do. I would love that. That'd be great.
Yeah, it would be.
I know he's supposed to be dead.
Yeah, losing a hand and getting force lightning down a window.
Yeah.
Over.
But so was the Emperor. Luke lost a hand and fell down. The chute.
Yeah.
I mean, there's they could easily. That's
they do whatever they want.
Yeah. And that would be the kind of thing that Jon Favreau, that's right up his alley. I think that's in his wheelhouse to bring Mace Windu back because he knows we love
Dave Filoni also. But let's see. We see Boba's in the back of the tank. Then we see a flashback to Camino with Slave One. And then we see Boba on a bantha, and he's wearing his Tusken robes, traveling through the desert to a city, which ends up being Mos Eisley. And Boba talks to a couple of Jawas and asks where the Pikes do their business in Mos Eisley. So the fish face characters from Chapter 2 are Pikes. And so they, Boba continues through Mos Eisley. We see the Stormtrooper helmets on spikes, just like we saw in The Mandalorian. And Boba has business with the Pike Syndicate. And so he talks to the guy, the leader of the bunch that got their tails kicked, and they got their train looted by the Tuskens for attacking the Tuskens. And he says, reached out to my superiors on Obadiah, Obadiah. They are unwilling to pay protection to more than one group or more than one party. And he explains the Kintan Striders have already collected protection money. And Boba's saying that, well, I'm here collecting on behalf of the Tusken Raiders of the Dune Sea.
And he says they have had a claim. They have laid claim. They have a claim on the Dune Sea since the oceans dried.
Yeah.
And so really, what he's saying is that the Tuskens actually have the true claim. And, he says, the Pike boss says we don't want to pay protection money to more than one group. And Boba Fett says we are one group. Basically we are the group. And so, they discuss it there. And I would like to point out, every time I think of Mos Eisley, I think of Obi-Wan Kenobi telling Luke when they're headed into Mos Eisley, there has never been a more wretched hive of scum and villainy than Mos Eisley.
Yeah.
So tough place, Mos Eisley.
He gets this news from the Pike leader. And it says, "I will resolve this. You will not hear from the Nikto Sand Riders again." Yes. And you're hearing this from Boba Fett, and so if he says it, it's you can take that to heart. And I would not be on the receiving end of of this promise he has made to the this Pike leader. But Boba leaves on his bantha. We see, he makes his way back to the camp. We see some smoke coming up over the sands, and this is a tough scene, guys. It's a real gut punch. Did not see this one coming. Makes his way in, and the whole Tusken camp is burning. The tents are burning. The banthas are dead. Yeah. He makes his way through the camp. You see the Tusken chief, who he has developed this, really tight knit relationship with. Is all among the dead, and so they're all dead. All of them are dead, including the banthas. Yeah. The kid, the Tusken child that messed with him when he was a prisoner that he saved. For me, it's really impactful. And people might not have really acknowledged it, but it's really impactful when you see, he stacks the dead and burns them as they did in the last chapter, with those that died from the train. It's really impactful because he picks up that little stick, and drops it onto the pile with the rest of them.
Yeah, that belong to the child, the Tuscan child. Yeah, it's a tough scene, guys.
Yeah.
It shows the chieftain, lying
credit
dead.
credit to Dave Filoni and John Favreau and the whole writing team for making going so far as to make these characters that for years we thought were just uncivilized raiders, as
The Pike boss called them.
the Pike boss called them, and to now to the point where we've seen the interactions with them and Boba, and it's it's a bit of a gut punch, no doubt.
It is. I really didn't see this coming. Did you expect this,
either.
William?
But the camp has the graffiti mark of that speeder bike gang that's got that JL symbol, that attacked the what we thought were moisture farmers,
right?
Wreaked havoc on the cantina.
Yeah.
Boba beat them up, took their speeders, and so apparently they came back, and they came back for blood. And anyway, it was just
it's tough.
It's a slaughtering, and so it's tough to watch. Boba's
Tamara Morrison really does a nice job with this scene as well.
Yeah, he does.
Tip of the cap.
And the music that plays in the background
fantastic.
during the scene too.
Yeah, again, Ludwig Göransson, has composed most of the musical scores for this. It's credited, but yeah, it's a good scene. It's well done. I think they give, they have set these Tuscans up, and now for the first time we're actually seeing character development with Tuscans. Even though they don't speak English, they make that that interesting grunting sound, and so they have taken him in. I mean, he's been taken in and made part of the tribe.
He became one of them. Yeah.
So it's tough. It's tough.
But
again,
we as the audience, we as the audience
continues.
get pulled out of. Yeah, that's a great point.
Trauma continues for Boba Fett.
But we get pulled out of this scene literally and figuratively.
Yes, we do.
It gets interrupted very abruptly because Boba's pulled out of the back to the tank by Chrysanthemum, which I guess and I think in the comics he was described as Black Chrysanthemum, but it seems like they dropped Black from the name. They're just calling him Chrysanthemum. But he's the big black-haired Wookiee from the last chapter. That the Hutts did warn Boba to sleep lightly.
They did.
And so, sure enough, Chrysanthemum yanks him out of the back to tank. And not a good situation. Nobody wants to be,
I completely agree, Jeff.
That's funny.
Great point.
That is funny. Not a good situation. Nobody wants to be yanked up from a dead sleep. In their undies, and
gladiator, by a 10-foot tall gladiator Wookiee.
Not a great time.
Yeah.
But anyway, so the conflict, starts from there. He gets
thanks, guys.
Boba gets yanked out. He gets thrown towards his armor, which is helpful. He gets punched with an electric pair of spiky brass knuckles. But he does reach his gaffy stick, gets a couple shots in, sticks him a couple times. But then he gets.
I would just to interject this here. How old is Tamara Morrison?
That is an excellent question.
Somebody look
I'll
up
look it up real quick.
How old Tamara Morrison is. I would just like to say Tamara Morrison for this part is in excellent shape. He is
61 years old.
Okay, guys, he's in his tidy whities basically, like a swimsuit kind of thing, and he is in excellent shape for the. It's really. It's a good scene, and you're thinking he's totally defenseless. He's in his underwear. For
And
So
so
it's
yesterday I said I was hoping for a fair fight, like an even strength fight
right.
between Chrysanthemum and Boba,
Right.
and I got the fight much sooner than expected, and I also wasn't expecting Boba to end up facing off with Chrysanthemum in his
Right.
drawers.
Right.
So anyway,
But that is in fact what happens.
yeah, that's what happens, and I mean, if you're a bounty hunter, you don't want it to be a fair fight. You're just looking to collect.
That's true.
So
That's true.
anyway, he gets thrown away by
Excellent point, Tina.
Chrysanthemum. He's swatted away, and then he gets bear hugged, and you hear like the cracking noise of his body, getting bear hugged by Chrysanthemum. And then finally, somebody shows up. I was like, "How did Chrysanthemum how did you guys miss like your protection detail between Finnick and this whole biker gang? You missed a giant Woody or a Wookiee coming into the
sneaking into
the palace. Like how?
You've got the biker faction. You've got the Gamorreans.
The Gamorreans also.
You've got 8D8 is supposed to be. What's he doing?
Yeah.
So
everybody's sleeping on the job apparently.
Apparently, because he made it all the way into the back.
Yeah.
Come on, guys. Yeah, I think they were, and as they finally get the thing under control. The Gamorreans show up. The biker gang, the biker faction shows up first.
Yeah.
And give him a run for his money. Everybody gets in on the act when they realize that he's there. And Finnick finally takes the situation in hand.
Yeah.
But it's
it
rattles the whole bunch.
Yeah, he's a beast. he beats up Boba, and then he takes on the whole gang.
Yeah, he does.
He tackles the two Gamorreans down the steps and bites one of them. Just straight up bites them.
Yeah, well, he bites Boba. He bites.
Anyway, Finnick gets Chrysanthemum to fall into the trap door. And then yanks a pretty sweet knife off of her rifle and yanks it and throws it into his hand, and he falls into the dungeon, into the Rancor pit. But just kind of funny situation. Boba comes out in a robe, but his attention, his focus is not on himself. He tells the Gamorrean to get the other Gamorrean into his tank, so he can heal up, because he took a nasty bite from Chrysanthemum. And Finnick just gives Boba this kind of knowing glance, and then it cuts to them at a scene sitting at a table that's full of food. Boba's not really in the mood. His mind's elsewhere, obviously. He tells the droid, "No more food."
The banquet table is just piled with food. Yeah.
But Finnick says, kind of reminds him, "You're the head of a family. You should enjoy the trappings." And he's like, "Nah, I need to respond. Everybody's watching, waiting for me to make my next move."
Yeah, this is the second assassination attempt. Second one.
And Finnick thinks that he should wait for the Hutts to show their hand. And she was like, "You already showed like he didn't get you. They sent him here to kill you, and now he's in your dungeon."
Exactly.
So you've already did your part, but Boba kind of insists that waiting's only going to give them the opportunity to strike again.
Right.
So, but almost immediately, 8D8 says the twins are here with a gift. So we see the Hutts very soon after their most recent appearance. And so Baaa-ack
are there.
Baaa-ack.
Again, unexpected company drops in.
Yeah. So
uninvited company drops in.
But Boba and Finnick, which I called the Baaa-ack just a minute ago, just combined them together in my head, come out to meet the twins, and they're in their full armor and weaponry. They are not. They're not about to be caught off guard again.
Right.
Whether or not the twins know that, they obviously probably don't. But they're not about to be caught off guard again. The Brother Hut, which this interaction to me is just amusing. It says they've come to apologize. The sister admits that they sent Chrysanthemum to kill him. And so they're like, here's this Rancor as restitution. And which I thought the actor driving the Rancor cart is Danny Trejo.
It is. Oh my gosh!
Which I just thought was the coolest. Like to slide him in there, I thought it was the coolest thing. And
love it.
And who better in Hollywood to be chosen as the driver of the Rancor vehicle and the Rancor keeper, really
handler, trainer.
Yeah.
I was thrilled to death to see Danny Trejo.
Very cool.
Hats off in the casting. Guys.
Yeah,
loved it.
Yeah. So very excited to see him. Neat to see him get a shot to portray a Star Wars character.
Love it.
But the Hutts, so Boba offers a treaty if they'll leave, the twins will leave Tatooine, and they say, yeah, we're going to leave, but not for that reason.
Right.
They say we've both been lied to. This territory's already been promised to another syndicate by Mayor Mok Shaiz.
Right.
And so the twins say we're headed back to Hutta, Mount Hutta. They say war is bad for business. So they're all about business. Yeah.
They're cutting their losses basically. Is what I got out of that.
And Boba has Chrysanthemum brought out in chains. They offer him back if they renounce their claim to Jabba's territory. They say that they're leaving anyway, and they suggest he does the same. The sister calls Tatooine a worthless rock.
Right. Right.
And
which is probably not too far off the mark.
And they tell him to sell the Wookiee back to the gladiators. He's a tribute to
instead
you.
of taking Black K with them, also called Santi by some Star Wars characters. Instead of taking him back, they say this is our tribute to you.
Yeah.
They basically give Santi to Boba Fett.
Yeah, I was not the next play. As the twins leave, I was not expecting Boba to do this. Where he just straight up releases Chrysanthemum. He tells him no hard feelings. It's just business. It's like, dude, he just tried to kill you. I mean, granted, bounty hunters are different. Obviously, they're a different breed.
All right, they are.
But he's he tells a bit of advice from an ex-bounty hunter. Don't work for scug holes. He said it's not worth it. And so Chrysanthemum just kind of gives a look like, seriously.
He's surprised.
And then he's like, he gets out of there. He books it out of there. You see him
don't
jog
have to
off.
Tell me twice.
Yeah.
Don't have to take. They do need Chewie to take care of that Wookiee. They do. I think Chewie could take him, Jeff. I do. My money's on Chewbacca.
That's funny. So the next step, Fennec says, I'll arrange a meeting with the mayor. And then this next scene is just really funny because again we're seeing a Star Wars character shown in a different light. So the next scene cuts to Danny Trejo, the Rancor keeper, handler, and Boba in the Rancor pit with the Rancor. And the Rancor's just laying there, like motionless, making noises, and Boba's like, "What's wrong? Yeah. What's wrong with it? It's not moving." And the Rancor keeper, he doesn't have a name yet as a character, but he says that it's depressed. He said Rancor are emotionally complex creatures.
Depressed Rancor.
And so, again, unpacking these creatures a bit
Jonathan,
more.
Welcome in.
Hey, welcome in, Jonathan. Very unexpected. He explains that it's a calf. It's wearing blinders currently. Mm-hmm. He said this specific one was bred from champions for fighting. Mm-hmm. And the keeper says, I kept it for myself to train it. And he explains that it imprints
this is like a prize Rancor.
Yeah,
this is a prize Rancor with a pedigree lineage, if you will. So if the trainer, the keeper kept this one, that it's this is like a prize puppy.
Yeah,
sort of.
And so it
right.
So the keeper explains the Rancor is capable of building strong bonds with their owners. He says the witches of Dathomir rode them through forest. The stories say that they rode them through forest and fens.
Yeah.
And so Boba says, "Hey, I'm game."
Love that reference. Love that reference.
Yeah, the Witches of Dathomir. So you see a lot of Dathomir in the Clone Wars animated series with
fascinating stuff.
Yeah, it's interesting
storyline.
And and a little weird too. And so it's
love it. I love those.
But
I love those. Yeah, those
neat reference. But Boba says he wants to learn to ride it, and the keeper, says, "You want to do what?"
Does a double take.
Yeah. And he says he's ridden, Boba says, "I've ridden beasts 10 times its size." And then Boba starts baby talking, like pet talking, baby talking to the Rancor, which is
like
just
scratching him behind his
ear.
Yeah,
it's like the funniest thing.
Okay, but remember, let me take us back to, he says that, Rancors can be very, almost lovable, that they form, a tight bond with.
Have a good
with
one, Jeff.
First human that they see. Thanks so much, Jeff, for being here. And when the Rancor is killed, when Luke kills the Rancor, remember, the keeper, the Rancor keeper, is really broken up.
Yeah, heartbroken about it. Yeah, I remember that now.
And they're standing there. He's standing there with one of his buddies, and they're really crying over the loss of this Rancor. And we think it's funny. Because he's a beast, he's a monster.
Yeah.
But according to this keeper, they are, they're known for being fierce fighters, but they're also pets.
Yeah.
So this kind of plays on that theme, that first sighting that we saw the Rancor in.
So the keeper has Boba go stand in front of it, so that way he's the one that imprints on the Rancor. Right. He walks up and pets it and says, "Is this the spot?" He just scratches the Rancor like he's a giant dog. Just the funniest thing. And 88 says, like, "Hey, I've got an update." He's like, "What?" Basically, like,
I'm busy.
Cancel all my meetings today. Clear my schedule. But yeah, not now. And anyway, so business picks up.
Really
funny very funny scene and very unexpected. And again, see, like you said, seeing this creature shown in a different light, and showing more layers than what we see. And also, that was a great point, making a note of those keepers, mourning the loss of the Rancor.
Yeah.
But 88 informs Boba that the mayor is busy for the next 20 days. Boba says, "Feed the Rancor a full Ronto carcass from the larder." Says, "Tell Finnick to suit up. We're not waiting for an appointment." And I guess the Rancor kind of whimpers a little bit, and the keeper said, Danny Trejo's character says, "Oh, he'll be back."
Don't worry.
It's funny.
Funny stuff.
So we see next cut is Boba and Finnick,
Jonathan.
Followed by the android gang and their brightly colored speeders.
There you go.
Again, strange and a bit jarring to see, the
bright colors,
the very neutral colors of Mos Espa. Very much for those that are more familiar with Tatooine or may not have watched the show. It's a lot of brown, brown gradient colors.
It is
in the city, and so a little bit jarring to see these bright colors. But they got no signs of wear on the bikes either. But they show up to kind of City Hall at where the mayor is, and the clerk and the mayor's majordomo try to deflect yet again.
Yeah.
And Finnick says, "If you wish to continue breathing, I advise you to weigh your next words carefully."
Yeah.
And
so that's pretty much the deciding factor.
She shows the blaster. Yeah, she shows the blaster and knows that she's and even Boba. Yeah, and even Boba acknowledges it too. He's like, "Oh, isn't that a bit heavy-handed?"
Yeah, right. She says, "Do you want the appointment or not?"
Yeah, he says, "Actually, I may be able to arrange some of the appointments that aren't as time sensitive as yours." So it's just funny because like he doesn't, like, his character doesn't break, with this threat of force or the tensions. He stays completely calm, cool, and collected in his role as the assistant to the mayor.
Right.
But so anyway, he goes in and then locks the door. You see the little red light click on the door panel, locks the door. Finnick's able to get him in. We hear Dank Farrik, which was thrown around by several characters in The Mandalorian.
Right.
But the mayor's major domo tries to escape in a land speeder, and so it's a good thing those I'm glad I called those guys. Got the android biker gang that chases after him, and it's a solid chase scene. There's a lot of mayhem.
It is.
You see some droids. See some city folk.
Crashing through,
plowing through stuff,
stands, and
knocking over a little water tower thing.
Yeah. At one point too, I wanted to point this out, and I actually took a picture of this and went back. They picture these two guys carrying a painting, and it's just that quick, And I thought, I wonder what the painting was. So I ran it back and froze it.
Yep.
It's a painting of Jabba the Hutt. It's like a scene from Jabba's palace when he was still on the throne, and he has the aliens around him, which I thought was funny.
Yeah, it's got Salacious Crumb, the lizard monkey, or the monkey lizard, and it's got Bib Fortuna's in the picture, and so's Boba. By the way, Boba's also in the picture too.
Yeah,
so
it's a painting of
that was funny
scene. It's pretty funny. Quick, but it's really fast. It's not even maybe a second. But
I wonder if that was based on some sort of sketch, maybe from Empire Strikes Back. I wonder if that
maybe original artwork of some kind. Yeah,
is what I wondered. But there's a ton of damage to Mos Espa. All these stands knocked over. They spin out this other vehicle that's driven by a funny looking droid, kind of like a carriage looking thing. They keep trying to spin him out, trying to blow out his his boosters, and finally the girl gang member gets him to spin out, and he knocks over a bunch of stands in kind of a marketplace area, kind of like a farmer's market looking thing, and then Boba lands like immediately on his jetpack. Yeah. Which I was thinking, I was like, man, we haven't seen Boba on his jetpack in a while.
Exactly.
Like, this would be a prime time for him to show up, and he just boom, superhero landing.
He did. Yeah.
And the mayor's major domo comes out with it and says he's working. The mayor is gone. Yeah. He's working with the Pikes.
Yeah.
And Boba says, "Oh, is he?"
Yeah.
And the next thing it cuts to, there's a Starliner ship with Pikes walking out of it. The android gang member goes and reports what he sees. It's a bit of a funny dialogue here, but he goes to report what he sees. Back, you see Finnick and Boba are back in the palace talking to him.
This is our first look at the starport. In this series, in this huge Starliner. Comes overhead. It's a cool opening sequence to this scene.
This specific gang member has like a scouter, robot eye thing going on, and
totally a Borg looking guy.
Yeah. And Boba tells him to keep an eye on them, and then Boba is like, "Oh, I'm sorry, it's an expression because the guy's only got one natural eye."
One natural eye.
And so. The guy's like, you don't have to be sorry. I paid a lot for this eye. I'm proud of it.
I'm proud of my eye. Yeah. But he tells him, he says, I'm seeing, seeing
about a dozen of them.
Soldiers disembarking, and, about a dozen of them. And, that's when, Boba says, keep an eye on them.
Yep. But Finnick says, they're preparing for war.
This is the first wave.
And Boba says, well, we'll be ready for war.
Yeah. She says, this is just the first wave. They're going to war. Mm-hmm. And Boba says, then we will be ready, which is which is how this particular episode ends. Yep. And, I really enjoyed this episode. It got some higher marks. I was just checking ratings on IMDb, Internet Movie Database.com. imdb.com. If y'all are not familiar with it, I use it a lot for movies, TV shows. It's pretty cool. Check it out. But this particular episode gets 6.4 stars on IMDb, which interestingly enough to me, is the lowest one. Like the chapter 1 got 7.5, chapter 2, the Tribes of Tatooine, got 8.4. Now the Gathering Storm, which is chapter 4, and we will cover that next Thursday, got 7.9 stars. So so chapter 4 got the highest IMDb rating that fans have given yet. I haven't checked any other rating systems, but I thought that was interesting.
That is interesting. I really enjoyed this one. You could tell business is starting to pick up a little bit. Storyline wise, where things are starting to pick up. So very excited about watching this week's episode and talking about it this Thursday of next week. So
yeah, I mean, I love that we've seen we got the Hutts, we've got Wookiee, we've got a Rancor. They're really I love all the pieces.
I do wonder if some of the low marking had anything to do with this android biker gang faction, just because they are stand kind of in stark contrast to what we're used to seeing.
That's true.
From Star Wars. And they're young too.
They're young, which is which adds an interesting element that wasn't there before. These young bikers, they're going to be reckless. They're going to be they bring an interesting element to the mix. Okay, now there is a big question, and I wanted to bring this up. Chrysanthemum is not credited in the credits of the show. It does not tell us who plays Chrysanthemum. He's not even listed in the credits. There is a big debate going on, guys, as to who the actor is who plays Chrysanthemum right now.
Interesting.
There is some speculation. I think Star Wars Theory, I have not, this is just something that I ran across not too long before we started. But there is a lot of speculation as to who the actor is who plays Chrysanthemum. It's kind of a mystery right now because the credits don't tell us.
Quick Google search credits someone named Carrie Jones.
They suspect that's who it is. If they haven't already determined that, but up until a few days ago, he was not credited. So there was speculation, as to who it was.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that's kind of interesting.
Let's see here. Well, cool.
Yeah, so that's that. I just thought that was interesting that, and again, how many guys, in Hollywood are that big, that they play Chrysanthemum. So, there's probably some pretty good guesses as to who it is. Who was it, William, that you said
the Google search said Carrie Jones. It seems like he's done a lot of special effects work, and
so it could be,
and also some acting as well. It says he's 6'7", so he's a big man.
He's a big guy. So it could be.
Yeah, he definitely has the height.
Yeah, so we'll investigate that a little bit more. But just for the record, Chrysanthemum is not credited.
Okay, and I didn't think to look for that.
Yeah, so that's we'll talk about that a little bit more and find out maybe they'll say for sure, or we'll find out whether we actually know or whether it's still that could be a little mystery that they left unsolved. They don't tell everything they know immediately, so that could be intentional. So there's a question: who plays Black Chrysanthemum? We'll see if we can find out, guys, if it has been revealed. Again, I think that Chrysanthemum and Boba Fett are going to form an alliance at some point.
I've been wondering, of the bounty hunters from Boba's past, if we're going to see some of these previous bounty hunters. Obviously,
if they're going to war, Boba's got to have some muscle. If they're going to war, Boba Fett and Fennec, no matter how formidable they are, have got to have some help. So we got the bikers. He's kind of amassing a a group around him, a family around him, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I predict, guys, that Black Chrysanthemum at some point will be an ally of Boba Fett.
Let's see here. So that I'm trying to think of all the bounty hunters. I looked it up. The bounty hunters that were in the scene that were hired by Darth Vader. We know that Boba and Bosk have history. IG-88 is one of the other bounty hunters that was hired by Darth Vader. Dengar, and let's see who else. Forlom and Zuckuss were all of the bounty hunters that that are in that scene with Darth Vader. So yeah, I mean, I feel like there's if he's looking for help, potentially he could very well recruit some of these guys from his past interactions as a bounty hunter.
Yeah. Jonathan says he wants Cad Bane.
Cad Bane, I would love to see a live action Cad Bane as long as they do it right.
Yeah. Yeah. That would be really cool. Jonathan, I agree. We've got, and we don't know who they're going to introduce. Remembering how they did it at the end of The Mandalorian, I would not be surprised if Jon Favreau does not introduce, a really popular character, for us in this series as well.
Yeah.
Just for the nostalgia, for the, to tie it together. There's so many things leading up to the introduction, or not introduction, but a character that we know and really love or don't love stepping in again. I want a Jedi.
So we see a face off between Finnick and Cad Bane in the Bad Batch because they're trying to track down Omega. So if they really wanted to tie it all in, if Cad Bane were to show up, then him and Finnick probably are probably won't be on the best terms. I mean, granted, they were both just doing a job,
that's true.
It's worth noting for sure. Could be some friction there if he does show up.
That's true. So that would be he could very well show up, prime candidate, and I mean they brought Ahsoka to life, on the live action screen for us. And we have a series coming up. A series coming up for Ahsoka.
So Cad Bane could be a good candidate for somebody that we've never seen live action that could be brought to life, just like Ahsoka was.
That's true. Well, and also our other Mandalorian, Katie Sackhoff, was brought to life as well in the Mandalorian. Bo-Katan. Yeah.
Yep.
So anything could happen, guys. It's kind of exciting, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with this one. There is a promo up on Disney Plus, guys, for the Obi-Wan Kenobi series too.
Looking forward to that.
If you haven't seen it, there's a good promo on Disney Plus that's coming. What is that set to debut in the summer, William? Is that?
I think so. Right? If I had to guess, it'll probably come after Moon Knight. If I had to guess.
Yeah, really.
So, probably, close to around the time this show wraps up, end of March is when Moon Knight, the Marvel series, picks up. So, let's see, next week's episode 5, 6, 7. So there'll be a little bit of a gap between the end of Book of Boba Fett and the start of Moon Knight. But yeah. Anything else you wanted to mention about this episode? Looking forward to watching chapter 4 and talking about it next week.
I can't think of anything else, guys. Let me just look and see if I had any other. Great. Again, great to see Danny Trejo. As the Rancor handler. That was really, really cool. Just quickly, I've got a new short up, guys, on the channel. And you'll have to check that out. This pen pack, opening this pen pack. Cool. And I am going to try to find some more of these. I know this is an older set. I truly wish that I had found this set when when they were first put out. But check out the short; it's a lot of fun. It's kind of a new approach for me. So check.
I wish I'd have known you had that one because I could have snagged you some more while we were there.
Yeah, I love it. It's a Star Wars retro mystery pen set, and it has some really great pens in it. So it's a set of 2 here. So I opened this one in the short, so check that out, guys.
Cool. All right. Let's see here. A little bit of channel news. Jillian is going live tomorrow morning to talk about her top 5 favorite Disney movies. So 8:30 Central, 9:30 Eastern tomorrow morning. So make sure to tune in for that if you can. Let's see. Check out Mom's short that she just dropped. And she also did a vlog of the little bit of snow that we got this past weekend.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Let's see.
Hitchhiker Chat Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. Eastern. Yep. And guys, be sure to join us for episode 4 of the Book of Boba Fett on the 27th, again at 12 p.m. Central, 1 p.m. Eastern, and we'll continue our commentary. We'll be on episode 4, and also be aware that Adventures of Gonzo holds a watch party when these episodes drop every Wednesday morning, 2 a.m. Central, 3 a.m. Eastern. If you're interested in staying up that tight, it's a lot of fun though, guys. Adventures of Gonzo hosts that watch party for episodes of Boba Fett. So I wanted to give him a plug for that. We appreciate you doing that, Gonzo.
Let's see here. Check out the liveplace.com. It's a website that's basically a TV guide listing for family-friendly live streams and channels. Check out Dean's YouTube channel, Dreamers Empire. Appreciate Dean for maintaining the liveplace.com. Also check out our partner channel, Monarch Moments. Lots of great Disneyland content. They're just a really fun family, so check them out. We love them a lot. Thanks so much to everybody in the chat. I tried to write everybody down. Hopefully I got everybody. Shout out to Aunt Susan and Aunt Joy, Jillian, Kylie, and other family members. Tina DCS, Pam's Fam, It's Joey's World, Adventures by D, Kevin Theme Park Adventure, Dennis Algazi, Diz Our Dream, and Jonathan Chung. And if I missed anybody, I'm sorry. It's always challenging to look through my notes and participate in the conversation while I'm trying to keep an eye on the chat too. So appreciate everybody for being here. Those that watched in ghost mode, appreciate you as well. Those watching on the replay also appreciate you. TubeBuddy, if you're a YouTube creator and want to grow your channel, check out TubeBuddy. It gives you helpful trends, searchable keywords for titles and tags, helps track channel data that can help you out in growing your channel. Basic version's free. There's a paid version. If you have under 1,000 subs, there's a cheaper paid version, and that's what we have. So we have an affiliate link in the description below. If you decide to use it, we'd appreciate it. Yeah. It gives us both a free month. If you're looking to get good quality, low cost promotional items, use our Stickermule link in the description below. We both get a $10 credit. So help us help you. And we appreciate those that have already used those links. Remember, if you could dream it, you can do it. We go live every Tuesday night, 9 o'clock p.m. Central, 10 o'clock Eastern for Hitchhiker Chat. Join us next week to talk Chapter 4 of the Book of Boba Fett from 12 o'clock p.m. Central and also 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern. Get your lunch together, talk a little bit of Book of Boba Fett with us. I'm looking forward to watching this one. I've heard good things from Mom and my brother-in-law about it, so looking forward to watching it.
Absolutely. Chapter 4 is great.
Like, subscribe.
4 is great, Pam. Can't wait to talk about it.
Like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you get notifications when we go live and drop videos. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. If you want to reach out to us, DM us or email us at the hitchhikingbones@gmail.com. I think that's all I've got. You got anything?
As always, big shout out to our moderators for taking care of those spots. We appreciate you guys very much. That. And again, check out my short, guys, on the Star Wars pins. By all means, check that out.
All right. Anything else?
Till the Spire, travelers, thanks so much for being here.
Remember, at the Hitchhiking Bones YouTube channel, there's always room for one more. So please hurry back.
Thanks
Bye,
so
everybody.
much, guys.
Have a great week. May the Force be with you. Always.